The Silent War Within. Unmasking the hidden forces shaping our human experiences. Behind every personal struggle is an untold story of societal constructs and self-will. Unravel the threads within us. Hello, listeners, and welcome to another episode of Information for Life, Insights and Ideas to Navigate Your World. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into the intricate web of personal struggles and societal forces. Because, my friends, life doesn't operate in silos. Section 1. The Illusion of Individual Failures. So you found yourself consistently hitting a wall in your relationships. Is it your fault? Maybe. But let's take a step back. Studies have indicated that difficulties in relationships are not solely a result of individual flaws. Larger societal and economic forces play an undeniable role. Finkel, Hugh, Carswell, and Larson, 2014. These societal influences can be as innocuous as advertisements and as insidious as deeply ingrained cultural beliefs. And here's the kicker, these influences are often propagated by vested interests, businesses, and corporations that profit from your unhappiness. Rosenblatt, 2017. All right. So let's delve deeper into this idea that not all relationship failures are a manifestation of personal shortcomings. I mean, we've all been there, right? You're cruising along, thinking things are fine, and bam! Conflict, misunderstanding, angst. You sit there, pondering over that tub of ice cream or during that late-night gym session wondering, is it me? Am I the problem here? Hold on to your seat because we're about to change that thought. I'm not saying you're absolved of all responsibility, but there's a larger picture to consider. Social conditioning through media and pop culture. You see, media and pop culture shape how we should think, feel, and behave in relationships. These cultural products often sell us a distorted dream, a happily ever after, a knight in shining armor, a damsel in distress. For instance, Finkel and others' research from 2014 states that popular culture sets up unrealistic expectations that can suffocate relationships over time. These idealized standards make us feel as if we're failing when the everyday grind sets in. Economics and relationship strain. Don't overlook the role of economic forces either. In this capitalistic dance we're all part of, stressors like financial instability can bear down heavily on relationships. Studies have shown that couples under financial stress experience higher rates of conflict and lower rates of satisfaction. Papp, Cummings, and Morey, 2009. Mental health, social stigma, and relationships. Let's not forget mental health. There's still a stigma around mental well-being, and this can create invisible barriers within relationships. One partner might be dealing with anxiety or depression, but is too ashamed to communicate openly about it. Unfortunately, this tends to lead to misunderstandings and strains in relationships. Davila, Stroud, and Starr, 2009. The profit motive. Making money off your misery. Now, here's the bitter medicine to swallow. There are forces out there that actually profit from your disquiet. Rosenblatt's 2017 study elaborates on how businesses and corporations exploit relational tensions to sell solutions. Whether it's the endless self-help books promising to fix your love life, or pharmaceutical companies offering pills to mend a broken heart, someone is cashing in on your turmoil. The vicious cycle. Societal pressure feeds individual insecurities. It's almost a vicious cycle. These societal pressures and profiteering forces create a fertile ground for individual insecurities to thrive. When those insecurities spill over into our relationships, we think it's our fault. But remember, you're not just fighting your inner demons, you're wrestling with societal constructs carefully engineered over generations. So, the next time you're facing a wall, don't just look inward. Consider the labyrinth maze of external forces that could be pulling the strings. It's not about finding excuses, it's about understanding the battlefield you're navigating. Section 2. The stereotype of stoicism and its price. Alright, let's shift gears a bit and touch on something that's very much a hot topic. Gender norms, especially when it comes to men and their emotional lives. Buckle up, because this one hits deep. The social script for men. You see, there's this unspoken script that many men are handed from a young age. It goes something like this: be strong, don't cry, handle it yourself. These words echo in the locker rooms, schoolyards, and eventually in boardrooms and homes. While Stoicism is important and absolutely has its place, Addison Cohane's 2005 study pointed out how this learned, pure Stoicism, without temperament, puts emotional and psychological strains on men, leading to a host of problems down the line, problems that we are seeing now. The double standard of emotional expression. So what happens when a guy decides to break the script and show vulnerability? Well, it's not exactly a ticker tape parade. Men who open up about their emotions are often misunderstood by both their male and female counterparts. They can be met with discomfort, disdain, or outright ridicule. It's a catch-22. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. The consequences, from mental health to relationships. This prescribed Stoicism has significant consequences that ripple through various aspects of life, especially relationships. While women are often encouraged to talk, to bond, and to seek support, men are quietly suffering, thinking that they need to bear their burdens alone. This isolation can be detrimental to mental health and may contribute to higher rates of substance abuse, depression, and even suicide among men. Olief and others, 2015. The high price of silence. Now, let's get real. This self-imposed silence isn't just hurting men. It's affecting their relationships as well, and ironically, deeply impacts women. The effects we are seeing more of every day, not just on social media, but now also in daily real-life interactions. If you can't communicate, can't empathize, shift blame, and can't realize it's not about you, how can you connect? Emotional openness is critical for any relationship to thrive, yet societal norms often deprive men of these skills. The relationships they are in, therefore, may suffer from a lack of emotional intimacy and understanding. Carniel and others, 2003. Breaking the mold. So how do we break this cycle? Well, first, it starts with awareness. Awareness on both sides. Acknowledging that this problem exists is the first step towards fostering change. The next step is a collective effort, creating environments that allow men to express themselves without the fear of judgment or ridicule. A big part of this is recognizing that men may need to vent their frustrations and be genuinely heard without judgment, ridicule, jumping to anecdotal evidence, etc. So there you have it, a societal script that needs some serious rewriting. It's about time we break down these invisible barriers that keep men shackled, preventing them from experiencing the emotional richness that life has to offer. After all, we're not just dealing with our own expectations, but the weight of generations before us. But hey, someone's got to take the first step to break the cycle, right? Stay with us as we navigate this complicated terrain. Section 3. The tides are turning. The rise of digital consciousness. Let's take a moment to look at the broader canvas we're a part of, the digital age. In this realm, YouTube has become an unexpected arena for social critique and change. Whether it's commentary channels, exposés, or think pieces, it's increasingly become a platform for challenging long-standing toxic norms. Kostraviznik's 2017 study underscores the potency of YouTube in generating public discourse and sparking conversation on otherwise hidden issues. The slow crumble of the nuclear family. Speaking of things changing, the, quote, nuclear family, end quote, you know, that 2 kids in a picket fence fantasy, isn't as dominant as it once was. According to Kuhn's 2013 research, this model is eroding under the weight of economic pressures and evolving social norms. And before you start fearing the apocalypse, hold on a second. The crumbling of this traditional structure isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's making way for a myriad of family arrangements that might just be a better fit for the complexity of human experience. But don't write off connection just yet. While the paint may be peeling off the walls of traditional familial structures, don't take this as an epitaph for genuine human connection. The heartening news is that there are still places, Yes, real, tangible places, and communities where authentic relationships are celebrated. These are the pockets of sanity where superficialities are cast aside and the essence of human interaction is valued. What's the drawback? Now, here's the rub. While these digital platforms provide an unprecedented platform for positive change, they can also be breeding grounds for polarization and so-called cancel culture, Bishop 2018. It's a delicate balance between using these platforms to challenge societal norms while avoiding the traps of digital mobs that can stifle meaningful conversation. Your choice in a shifting world. So, in this rapidly changing landscape, we each have the agency to find our little sanctuaries, whether they be in a new city, a different job, or a fresh relationship. Sometimes it's about relocating. Other times it's about finding your people right where you are. There you have it. The tides are indeed turning, whether we're ready for them or not. But hey, isn't that the thrilling part? Navigating these waters may be challenging, but at least we're not drifting aimlessly. We've got a compass, our values, our communities, and our own damn resilience. So stay tuned. There's a lot more ground to cover as we unravel the complexities of this evolving narrative. Section 4. You have the power. The power of agency. There's a word we don't hear enough of: agency. Gable and Gosnell's 2013 study discusses the notion that we all possess the power to make choices that shape our lives. Amidst the chaos of societal expectations, amid the cacophony of voices telling you to be this or that, you can assert your agency. You are not just a passive recipient of life's whims. You're the master of your destiny, capable of carving out a haven in this tumultuous world. The architecture of your personal space. Picture your life as a walled city. These walls can't keep everything out, but they certainly serve as a filter. And guess what? You're the architect. You have the license to be discerning about who gets a pass through the city gates and who doesn't. Meyer's 2001 research provides a perspective on the importance of setting boundaries and selecting social connections that align with your values, suggesting that it's a protective mechanism that also fosters personal growth. Vibrate higher. Everyone resonates at different frequencies. In this context, I mean emotional and ethical frequencies. Look for people who harmonize with your values, your aspirations, and your view of what it means to be human. Seek out those who not only reject, but actively fight against the toxicity that seems to be an integral part of our current social fabric. But it's not a one-man show. Here's the tricky part. While agency gives you the power to make choices, it does not absolve you of responsibility to the community at large. It's not just about building walls. It's also about extending bridges. To create the kind of world we can collectively thrive in, we must be willing to reach out, to communicate, to make the effort to understand even when it's hard. So, my friends, you've got the blueprints and the tools. Build wisely. You are the composer of your life's symphony, the artist sketching your landscape. Choose your colors and instruments carefully, for they will set the tone for your existence. While the external world may be in flux, your inner sanctuary can remain untouchable if you but exercise your agency and make it so. And there you have it. You have the power, not just to survive the roller coaster of life, but to redesign it. We might not be able to control the ups and downs, but we sure as hell can control how tightly we hold on and who we invite to join us for the ride. Section 5. Fight the good fight. The long road ahead. In the immortal words of Albert Bandura, people with high assurance in their capabilities approach difficult tasks as challenges to be mastered rather than as threats to be avoided. Now, his research in 2010 emphasized self-efficacy as a core component for fostering resilience and adaptability. What does this mean for us? It means that even though the battle for a more compassionate and less toxic society might not be won overnight or even within our lifetimes, the fight is far from futile. Planting seeds for tomorrow. We're all gardeners in the soil of society, tilling the ground and sowing seeds for the future, Those seeds might be ideas, conversations, or acts of kindness. They could be profound shifts in our personal lives that send ripples through the people we interact with. The point is, even if we're not around to relish the fruits that blossom, the act of planting those seeds ensures that something meaningful will grow for future generations. Your circle is your sanctuary. In a world that feels like it's constantly shifting and evolving, sometimes not for the better, it's essential to have a sanctuary, a circle of people who understand and share your values. These are the folks who will stand by you, who will help you sow these seeds, and who will make the grueling process of fighting the good fight a bit more bearable. The art of constant evolution. Life is a lot like clay. It's malleable. You can reshape and remold it to better align with your values and needs. So, as you fight this fight, remember that you have the right, no, the obligation to evolve. Never let complacency set in. Keep pushing for a better you, and in turn, a better world. All right, my friends, as we come to the close of this episode, remember this. The path ahead may be long and filled with obstacles, but you're not walking it alone. So stay strong, keep your gloves up, and never, ever forget that the best is yet to come. This is Daniel Boyd, signing off.